Mythic boss rush, level 420, day 4. So this is an Ivus fight. I've already beaten this on NA and EU, so I'm trying to get my third win here on Asia. There's some pretty strict requirements on this one. You need some pretty high level mercenaries, but with Malchezaar's All Realities, this is a more consistent strategy than another one that I've gotten through it with Genn. The important breakpoints are going to be the 70 hit points of the Treant ads that get summoned when Ivus goes dormant. So having Blizzard do 70 damage would be ideal. It makes a lot of things simpler if you have that, but I'm doing it with a lower level one here. So I'll be able to show you how you can get through it with a lower level. The hit points on all your mercenaries is pretty important on this one, with the exception of Malchezaar and to a lesser extent Edwin. They're not really, they don't need high health, but Medivh, Balinda, and Khadgar, it's best if they have a pretty decent amount of health. On Balinda, her damage doesn't matter too much here. The health on her water elemental and her personal health will allow you to complete the bounty with a little bit higher nature anomaly rolls. Otherwise, you might need to re-roll a bit more. Medivh, he's got a similar thing. The Arcane Ward health isn't super relevant on this fight. You can't really get it high enough without investing heavily in it. His Arcane Rift damage is not super important as long as you're able to finish off Treants, maybe with a combo of another attack from another mercenary or your blitz. The birds are pretty important though. They don't have to be as high as this at 20, but they should probably be at least 10, preferably 15, so that they can ramp up a bit faster. And the Mage Guard is not super important here, but more points in it are nice to have. I typically don't end up casting it too often on these runs. Bwonsamdi, he should basically be base levels in everything. It is fine to get some damage in his first and third ability here. And it's also okay to have a few points from these shared treasures that Genn and Medivh use. But overall, you want to try to keep his health low so he gets targeted by things more often. Malchezaar, we're going to be using his second equipment instead of the third one here, as that's important for your ability to finish off the blue ads after they get hit by all realities with attacks that are not super slow. I tried it some with the third equipment and I've beaten it with it, but it's easier this way. And then Edwin, he could be Genn instead if you have 260 artillery strike, but I'm demonstrating this for people that have lower artillery strike, as you need to be able to kill Onyxia, who has 200 hit points and I believe some spell resistance, who's blue, and Kazakus has 260 and is blue. So by using a green artillery mercenary, it makes it a bit easier. And he is also capable, if you have 35 attack on him, by getting a few of his upgrades to rank 10, that 35 attack will allow you to kill a Treant with his Assassin's Blade with a double hit without assistance from anyone else, which does not always come up, but it could be relevant towards the end of the fight, depending on how it goes. So we'll go ahead and get into it here. So we're looking for an anomaly with nature around 90 or less with the stats that I have. If it's right around 90, it can be a little bit sketchy. Ideal, it would be in the 80s or lower. And if it's in the hundreds, we're probably going to have to just going to reroll this. 140 is too high. We're not too concerned about any of the other anomaly rolls. It's mostly just the nature damage that is an issue. So hit points on Ivus, once you get to the end of the fight, you can kind of sustain that indefinitely. And attack doesn't really matter. Anything that he actually attacks is going to die or be immune, be a summon that we don't care about. The attack on blues doesn't really matter. We typically won't be able to survive a melee swing. And hit points on blues doesn't matter because we're using all realities. It matters a little bit for the second blue in some circumstances. Depending on how the fight goes, sometimes you can all realities the second blue, and other times you'll just end up killing it with ramped up birds or damage accumulating on her. When you get one of the blue ads down, it simplifies the fight a lot, because you can get into a situation where you have Ivus is dormant, you have a single treant alive, and then the one blue ad. And if you have a counter ward in play, the blue ad just gets countered, and only the treant acts. So it'll do, in this case, it'll only do like 70 damage, which is healable with Genn or Hearthfire or Medivh, or you can eventually end up killing it and reactivating Ivus, re-clearing the ads, and that kind of thing. So you can get into that cycle. So this is a pretty good start because he's using the 8 speed here. If he uses the 1 speed AoE, you pretty much just have to restart because it'll end up doing too much damage to you or kill your Balinda or something. But we're going to be using Blizzard to force him to go dormant. We're going to put some Frost Weakness on him because damage on the blues is irrelevant. We're going to freeze the right hand ad because we want the left hand ad to be unfrozen when it comes out earlier if we end up only killing some of the treants. In most cases we'll kill all the treants though, and they'll come out at the same time, but there are circumstances where you might have just this one blue ad come out on the All Realities turn, so we want it to be unfrozen. And then on turn 2 here, we're going to not freeze the other blue. And we need Medivh, because we need to counter the 0 speed Cenarion Surge so that they're not sped up next turn. We need Balinda, and we need Bwonsamdi. So the goal here is to freeze Ivus, so that we don't have to deal with him. We're going to bounce, and she'll be countered. Hopefully he doesn't use anything too fast. Okay, so yeah, this is a fine outcome. A lot of times he'll also AoE root here. We are hoping for good RNG though, where these Nature Blasts don't kill anything. So the best RNG would be for them to hit Bwonsamdi. It's also okay if they kill the Water Elemental or the Arcane Ward. We just don't want our other mercenaries to die, and it is also possible to win if Balinda dies here. And even potentially if Medivh dies, you can win if the Arcane Ward survives. So we'll see what we end up getting here with our RNG. And we might as well just do this here to ramp. You might want to not AoE with Balinda. So yeah, that's fine. Because if your Water Elemental survives there and hits Ivus, you want him to be frozen and bounced instead of going dormant, because then he'll stay on the board, and then when you bounce, he becomes active again, and he unfreezes. Okay, so this turn, this is going to be our All Realities turn, so we need Malchezaar. We need Khadgar, Bwonsamdi, and Malchezaar. So the thing that I was forgetting about is that this turn, it's going to have all the trees that we bounced from when the first turn. So we have to deal with those. So we're going to Blizzard these, and then if you have 70 damage Blizzard, it's really easy because they just die. If you don't though, like in my case, you need to combine that with or Malchezaar and your Bwonsamdi, and sometimes you'll have a Water Elemental alive here. As you saw, we had RNG that killed our Water Elemental, so we don't have that option. We did get some 7 speeds here, which makes it a bit easier. So in this case, we can use Binding Contract on the 5 speed, and then since we have 2 7 speeds, we can just use Checker Weapons, Birds of Feather, and you do need to counter the counter ward. If these were more 5 speeds, you would have to Party Crasher here, but we're going to save ourselves the 10 hit points, even though it's probably not going to matter. Okay, now, and this sets up our All Realities turn, and your positioning shouldn't matter, so moving around. So here we counter All Realities, and she's going to get to shoot something, but that's fine. I'm going gonna buff. Set the balance to preserve this, and we're gonna deal with her later. So we just want to get her off the board. Second one, and then we're gonna kill. So on the previous runs that I've done, I typically have a water elemental alive here. Since we got bad RNG this run, we don't. So I may have to consider either finding a way to make him go dormant, or we just eat this Nature Blast and the outcome. The important thing, though, is that this All Realities is going to get off no matter what happens with that Nature Blast. And this Birds of a Feather should also kill this no matter what, since this will only do 62 damage if it hits the bird. So we should be fine regardless of what this Nature Blast does. And hopefully Medivh Khadgar survives here. I don't think I want to try to push him instead. This would only do 58, and this is a little bit too low to put him by itself. I don't think we damaged him since he got out of his last dormant, so I'm just going to go with it. Hopefully all these Nature Blasts just hit Bwonsamdi, but that's probably not going to happen. And it's okay if Malchezaar dies here. It's better if he doesn't. Okay, so that's a decent outcome. Stop shooting Khadgar. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. Alright. That's pretty good RNG on that. It would have been better RNG if we still had our water elemental alive, but that didn't happen, so to deal with it. So at this point, previously I had used Medivh, Balinda, Bwonsamdi in this position, and I ended up doing extra bounces. But I think we've gotten to a board state here where we can just do Medivh Khadgar, and then the final slot is kind of whatever. I believe Bwonsamdi safest here because we have a board space issue with the water elemental. And he can also give us a bounce, or he can use a Deal of Vanity to redirect things to himself in a pinch. And at this point, all we care about surviving is Edwin. So if we can get through the fight and Edwin lives, then we win. Alright, so we got the counter ward, bonus counter ward. And we can start working on getting her down. So there's a couple options here. We could go for another bounce. Never mind, we don't have Malchezaar anymore, so we do have to just kill her. So we need to maximize damage on the blue. And then make Ivus dormant whenever it makes the fight easier for us. So I believe we're going to do an Archmage Nova here, which will turn him dormant. I would like... I would like to get rid of one of these counter wards, but I might, so that I can get more birds out, but it might be better to just do damage here instead. Yeah, I think spending damage shooting my own ward would be worth it, so we're just going to do this. We also could have targeted our bird on Ivus, and then it would have shot a random target instead, which could be beneficial for hitting one of these treants, so that if they were all acting at 5 speed, it would essentially be like allowing your bird to shoot something before the 5 speed goes off, in some case. But we're going to do a Blizzard here. Cenarian Surge should get countered. Just have to... Guys. So I would like to put my bird hit the blue here if we can. So actually I could let the 5 speed go off. I'm gonna do 76. I don't care if anything takes 76. And most likely it'll shoot one of these wards, which is fine. that's probably the worst target for me to get shot, because now we have to be really careful, but it should be okay. And this is a good position to be in. So we have, this is a fairly sustainable position where you have a counter ward. You can kill this and then make Ivus go dormant again, and also damage some of the ads right when they get summoned. But now we're just trying to get to a position and finish off this blue. So we want to act at 5 speed or slower. I think we're going to go... So ideally, we would want to double this with this Arcane Rift. But if we do that, then the Blizzard will not hit Ivus or ads he summons afterwards. So we might just go here, which will hit the arcane portion of the Nova. And I think I want this to hit this, and this one as well. Go with this. But it's okay if they hit the blue instead. This is just like a safer option because we need fewer fast abilities to ensure that we clear the tree, since our Blizzard does not do 70. If we did 70, we would have already won at this point. Okay, so that's a 5 speed, this is 5 speed. We're gonna do the same. And just get the damage on the treants and have her slowly get AoE'd down. Looks like we've got a pattern here that should allow us to win. We got 2 5s this time, so that takes care of 1. So we have to do this. Probably let Ivus out this turn. He's doing the 1 speed, so this is going to get off. So I can Hearthfire or Mage Guard to ensure that the Cenarian Surge does not kill Khadgar. Okay, so if this crits her, she'll die. So we can just do Hearthfire 88, survive the Cenarian Surge. Crit her. I believe that'll get us there. Okay, so we should be all set now. So now at this point, we want to kill off everyone except for Edwin and 1 other mercenary. So we have to choose which mercenary we want to keep alive. It's definitely not Bwonsamdi. It's probably going to be Khadgar that we want alive. Oh, actually, here, we can just do this. We'll just counter. And force him to attack us. Do everything at. We get another bird out here. Probably good. And he'll go dormant just from hitting. Whatever Khadgar does will hit the... We can go ahead and Nova. Could even swing this with these things, they're pretty big. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so I still need to kill off 2. Just being cautious here. Go ahead and use that to swing. Guess we just shoot at our Medivh.
Job's done.
Do you take me for an ordinary mage?
Go ahead and kill off our Balinda here. Let's see, how much does this do? 25 only? I don't really want to get the treants out right now. Actually, it shouldn't matter. Alright, so now we're good. Now we just kill everything. I was being a little careful there because this fight is kind of long. And it's easy to make mistakes and have to roll a good anomaly again and all of that. So, Blizzard. Spam at this point. Some damage with our big arcane ward. So this is the first time I've had multiple arcane wards alive at the end. Usually only have one. It is pretty nice to have the 0 speed attack and the option to counter and a backup. That. So we can. Be careful swinging with your Edwin. Don't end up hitting Ivus. Because it's your immune attack. And there you have it. So now you just have to hit artillery strike, and you got a 50-50 to do that. So as long as you have the requisite artillery strike damage value, hit it. So we win. So that is 420 day 4 down on all 3 regions now. We get our victory lap. So as you can see, Xaravan has very low base health due to being a Felwood boss. Don't need much artillery there. Double check the Onyxia thing here. I think she has spell resistance innately or from her ads. 200 health. I think it's 210 is the requirement. Yeah, 10 spell resistance built in. Which I believe, if X Artillery Strike. But the bigger requirement is Kazakus on this next fight. Takes 260, and Amberwind is lower due to also being an early boss. So as long as you get Kazakus, you're good. So yeah, this comp, you pretty much just need a decent nature roll on the anomaly, and it should be doable as long as you have the stat breakpoints for damage and hit points. And there you have it, 19 turns. Good luck on your run.